Look who it is. I wondered where she was since this morning, and I guessed the forest. And look at her. I'm breathing hard because I ran to get the phone because she's so cute. Oh, Mommy needs a breath. She's gonna sit and look at you for a bit because you're so darn cute. How was the forest? Did you have fun? My little forest kitty. Okay. So this area here, here's the trail. Oh, I'm old and out of shape. That goes into the forest. I literally saw one year a giant black bear, must have been 500-600 pounds, resting against this tree here. No joke. It was pretty scary, but I didn't go outside. Anyway, back to my story. This section of the forest here is literally where Rufus came out of. Maybe about 3 years ago now. This little spot here. He used to come for wherever in the forest they go. There must be, I don't know, barns or cabins or something. I don't know what's going on. But he would come out and appear down over here. See, you can't really tell, but when my neighbors built this place, my neighbor's a builder. They own all this property here. I don't actually own it, but I might buy it one day now that I have a job. And he has offered to sell it to me. I just didn't have any money. And, oh, a tree's gone down. We'll go to that for a sec. So there's this fencing here, and apparently they had a garden in here. But as you can see, the pines and quaking aspens, etc., have taken over. So there used to be a garden in here. And I had this thought one day that I would have a donkey or something and I would make this area, see there's my garage, make this area sometime into some kind of a paddock or build a shelter, and maybe I'll get goats or something, we'll see. And yeah, that'd be cool to have a donkey, don't you think? And okay, so I just discovered that a tree is down here. Trees do fall down, that's new. You can't really see it, but I call this the fairy island. So I don't know what they used it for, but he actually built steps. Can you see the wooden steps made out of railroad ties? And he surrounded it, the whole island, quote unquote, with rocks. There's actually a rock wall, and I call it an island. And there's like pretty moss phlox that grows on my rock wall that grows around here. So it's quite pretty. So yeah, hopefully he'll sell it to me for a good price and I can own this little fairy island and, I don't know, do something with it one day. I don't know. Maybe some animals of some kind and refurbish this. I don't know. This is Rusty again. This is the reason why I came out here. She loves her forest. So if I win the lottery, maybe I'll buy this. And I would love, see, I have this nice separate garage, and you might know that my husband uses half of it for his weekly jam night band thing. So we don't actually put cars in it. And it's got an attic space, but you can't really access it unless it's use a ladder. And I've never been up there. And I would love to build, I don't know, some kind of what do they call them? She sheds as a retreat. I don't know. Maybe with a wood stove, wouldn't that be cool? But you see here, this is kind of like a trail and it goes down to the road. And we actually use it in a way, like when my wood gets delivered, the wood guy brings his truck this way. The septic guy, when he pumps the septic tank, comes this way. When we had the septic tank built a couple years ago, a giant excavator came down here. That was awesome. And wouldn't it be cool to make, like, I don't know where, maybe not there. Oh, look at this. Okay, we have to go over here. Look at this guy. Well, I called her a guy because I thought she was a boy when we first met, didn't I? Your name was JJ. Junior's Junior you were called because you looked like Junior, and I think he's your dad. Yeah. But then the vet said, I think this is a girl. I'm like, well, you would know, you went to vet school. I didn't look at her butt. I gave her her privacy. And I've always wanted an orange girl and a calico. And look, I got two of them. Little monsters showed up under my neighbor's porch. Anyway, I forgot this story here because, as I said before, I'm older now and we lose our train of thoughts when we're older. So Rufus would show up out of the forest here and we'd meet, and eventually he came to trust me. I think he was a wandering barn cat, and I think him and Junior are related. He's a little older than Junior. Well, Rufus has now passed on, you might know. He had a heart arrhythmia. He only lived about 1.5 years. It was very sad. He died in front of me. He came out of the forest one day after having a fight with some other cat or forest creature, and I got a bad feeling. And I ran into the forest to find him. And I went up the trails, and there he was, huffing and puffing. And I thought, I better take him home. So I scooped him up, and he was a big cat. He was tall and thin and long and lean, gorgeous. I named him Rufus because if you know your English history, there used to be an Anglo-Saxon king, King Rufus, that actually met a bad end in the forest. And Rufus means red hair. And he was redheaded, so that was why he was King Rufus. And he became the king of the forest for the short time that he lived with us. He took over Stripey's duties, and everyone says, Stripey's fat. Well, Stripey used to be lean and thin himself and was the king before. And he gave up the duties willingly to Rufus. And then he got fat. He just decided to keep eating. So anyway, Rufus passed on, and I had, right, the story, refocus. He was huffing and puffing. I had him on the deck. His nose, his little pink nose was gray. And I thought, oh no, like, I'm not a doctor, but I have some medical knowledge. And I thought, that's not good. He's not getting oxygen. Something's going on with his heart. And he was huffing and puffing. And, you know, I didn't think much of it. And he was happy. He was purring at the same time. And then he went down in the basement. And within minutes, and it's never good when they go in the basement, because I had another cat that had convulsions in the basement. The cats will go to hide and be away when they know they're going to die. It's the way, it's natural, it's okay. So I went down there, obviously worried, and then he started having convulsions and coughing. It was horrible, but I felt I can't leave him. He's my boy. So he died right in front of me. Anyone says, take him to the vet. There was no time. He died within 15 minutes of me rescuing him. But the thing is, I listened to my gut, and I went to go get him. If I hadn't, he wouldn't have made it through the thick forest. You know, maybe one day I'll take you down the trail. I don't feel like it right now because I'm busy doing gardening and watching my kitty. Yeah, he wouldn't have made it home. And then I wouldn't have known what happened to him. I would never have found his body. And then he would have just been another disappeared cat. So it happened for a reason. And my husband is very sensitive to these things. He couldn't watch, but I felt I had to hold his paw as he passed, and I did. And I read that you're supposed to tell the other cats what happened and let them say goodbye. And I put him in a box with a blanket and some flowers. And I let, Doggy didn't care. Doggy was his best friend. They were friends. Doggy used to send him up a tree. Oh my God. It was so funny. But then when Rufus started to come into the house, he used to sleep in my screen porch until January of that year. And then we went and had him neutered and shots and all that. But he became best friends with the dog. And the dog was like, oh, okay, bye. But Stripey, they were kind of frenemies. Stripey was mad. he sat near that box and he was angry at me. He thought I did something maybe, and he didn't speak to me. And you know how affectionate he is towards me. He didn't speak to me for a couple days, and he hissed at me when as he walked past the box. He was mad. He thought I'd done something, I guess. So the next day, and I buried him out front. I have a kitty memorial garden where a few of the kitties are buried. My mother-in-law's 2 purebred. Oh, look at her. Look at her just sitting there. She's so cute, enjoying the fresh air and sunshine in the trees. My mother-in-law had a Maine Coon and a Siamese, as well as Blazer, the Himalayan. And they were elderly, and they're buried there. They became mine when she moved here. God, look at how pretty she is. She's a pretty girl. I call her handsome because her sister Spicy's the pretty one, and this one, she's bigger than Spicy and more manly. And I call her all legs because you pick her up and her legs go everywhere. And Spicy, she's more of a princess. She will curl up. So I call her the pretty princess. Anyway, Rufus is buried in the Kitty Memorial Garden. But the next day after he passed, let's sit down in the grass under this birch tree. Look at this animal. It's adorable. So it was kind of interesting and amazing that there was a rainstorm. And I like to go out in the rain. She's enjoying our company. She's a loner, but she likes to hang out sometimes. So I like to go out after a rainstorm and check out the gardens and see what's going on. And I like, you know, the rain and drops on the plants. And there was a giant rainbow over the house. Or maybe I'll try to get these old bones off the ground. Let's see. We'll take a little walk. You know, I don't know if my slow internet will ever allow me to upload these long videos, but we'll try. I figure if I put it on at midnight, maybe. Okay, so there's the house, and the rainbow was right there. It was gigantic. It was gorgeous. And I was like, wow. And okay, I'm gonna go back and see Rusty. Oh yeah, so another part of my story, because I get sidetracked, is I'm thinking one day, see this gorgeous oak tree? I'm thinking if I ever have money and win the lottery, if I play, although, another side story, one of my new patient friends at the hospital yesterday was so pleased with my help that he came back and he bought lottery tickets, and he had me sign it too. So he says if we win, he'll share the prize. So you never know. Universe, I'm putting it out there. We'll build some kind of a, you know, like a cabin here, and maybe attach to it something for an animal. Like, I don't know. Wouldn't it be fun to have a goat? Anyway, let's go back to Rusty. There's the fairy island again. So, the end of my rainbow story. Yep, she's still there. She doesn't move fast. She's a saunterer. Can you spot her? She's camouflaged. It's amazing how cats can be camouflaged. You think orange is bright, but they blend in with the leaves and the dried grass. So, people say on the internet this silly phrase that when an animal dies, it crosses the rainbow bridge. And I thought, what a silly thing to say. But honestly, in that moment, I had been worried that Rufus didn't have a long life, and I felt bad. And I was upset, but I don't cry about these things because death is a part of life. Hello. She's so cute. She wants to see her mama. And my husband can't talk, even about cats that died like 7 or 8 years ago. And I had read that you should, you know, pray or kind of like do a meditation, ask the angels to help you find peace when you lose a pet. It's always very tragic. She's making me follow her. Okay, I gotta get up. And I felt his spirit come to me in that moment watching the rainbow. And all of a sudden, his spirit said to me, in a way, not really saying, because he was a cat, he didn't use English, but the feeling that he was grateful for the life that I'd given him, even for a short time. He had been happy. He conveyed that thought to me. And I thought, you know, am I crazy? Am I really feeling this? And then as soon as I felt this warmth of love come over me, the feeling passed, as if he had crossed the rainbow bridge. So apparently this is a thing. He literally crossed the rainbow bridge. It literally happened. I do have a video somewhere. This is like 2 years ago of the rainbow. But that's the story of Rufus, who Rusty looks like. Rufus was a blonder orange, but she's got the long body, whereas Junior has a squat body and is short. I think she'll always be small like this, but she looks tall. See you later. I think she's going inside for treats. But yeah, she likes the same spot that Rufus came out of. I guess I should get back to work. That's my little half-dead maple tree garden that I created for them because they like to hang out under there. So I got some topsoil. It's kind of like concrete. I don't know what the heck kind of topsoil it is. But I did put some hostas here. So maybe one day I'll put some, you know, mulch. And then it'll be like a cool place for them to come when it's hot. And over here, this is the woodpecker hole. I had a giant pileated woodpecker, like woody woodpecker, come, and he just worked away for days and made this hole. And I put a little gnome in there. And then there's a mushroom and a little fox sculpture that was already here when I got the house. So yeah, I'm gonna make this into a little cat shade area. So yeah, that's it. That's a bunch of stories. So yeah, maybe one day I'll ask my neighbor to sell me this property and we'll build a donkey house. I'd love a donkey. Anyway, gotta get back to work. Talk to you later.